The story begins in Leda, where Didak is assisting a mechanic with tractor repairs while listening to the radio. He hears alarming news about a global crisis caused by solar storms affecting the climate. The mechanic dismisses the news as nonsense, joking that it's more likely an alien invasion. At the same time, a teenager named Alba rides her motorbike to visit her father, Dara, a climatologist working inside a cave. She records a video diary and talks to her father about the abrupt temperature changes. Dara emphasizes the significance of his research and the need to protect nature. Hello, Nacho here, and welcome back again. Let's walk through the outstanding storyline of this masterpiece. Later, Alba heads into the city and meets Didak and his mother, Trini. Alba, who teaches English to Didak, praises his progress, while Trini checks on how he's doing. During their conversation, a group of teenagers tries to bully Didak, but Trini steps in and scares them off. After her visit to the city, Alba returns home to see her father again. Father getting ready to leave for Barcelona. They talk briefly, but Dara has to leave quickly. He tries to hug Alba, but she refuses because his hands are dirty, which hurts Dara. The next day, Didak's bullies try to throw him into a lake. Alba tries to stop them but fails and Didak is thrown in. Alba jumps in to rescue him just as a solar storm hits, turning the sky red. She saves Didak and they head home, seeing the devastation caused by the storm along the way. Didak finds his mother dead under debris, and Alba comforts him. They walk through the snow to Dara's cave, where they find supplies. The next morning they leave the cave and go to Alba's house, which is in ruins. They decide to stay at Dara's farmhouse. Alba tries to use the phone and laptop, but both are broken. Thankfully, the solar charger still works. Alba tries to call Dara on her phone, but he doesn't answer, which makes Alba sad. Because of this, they decide to go outside and look for help. Outside, Alba and Didak see how empty and scary the city has become. Didak gets curious and goes to a police car, where he finds a gun in the trunk. He shows it to Alba, who quickly tells him to put it back. Suddenly, Alba tells Didak they should leave and go to Barcelona. Alba tries to ride a motorcycle but Didak pushes her from behind. This makes Alba crash into rubble and she falls. She hurts her side on a piece of metal and starts bleeding. Didak apologizes, and they agree to go back to Alba's home. At night, Alba wakes up because her wound hurts. After cleaning it, she looks at their old photos and feels emotional. The next day, Alba reads her father's diary for the first time. She learns that Dara was right about Earth giving us warnings. After that, she starts another video diary, saying she's making it to keep herself sane. She also admits she's sad that no one came to rescue them. Suddenly, she stops the video. That night, Alba gets a fever, so Didak takes care of her. He tries to talk to her, but she doesn't respond. So Didak checks her wound and finds out it's infected. Alba weakly tells him she needs antibiotics, so he plans to get some. But before he can go, Alba stops him and says she'll get them herself because it's dangerous outside. Curious, Didak puts his hand on Alba's chest to feel her heart. Alba feels weak and goes back to sleep. Didak kisses her forehead and asks her not to leave him. Without hesitation, he leaves the farmhouse and gets ready. Even though he's scared, he gathers his courage and rides his bike to get Alba's antibiotics. When he finally gets the medicine at dawn, he gives it to Alba right away, hoping she'll get better soon. Then he goes to his old home and feels sad about what he's lost. After that, he sneaks into the mechanic's garage and checks the tractor. Morning comes, and Alba wakes up feeling better. As she checks her wound, she sees Didak waking up too and feels relieved that she's recovered. He immediately hugs her and kisses her cheek. Once Didak lets go, Alba asks him to check her wound. Didak tells her that her wound is healed but has turned into a large scar. Despite this, Alba remains optimistic and tells Didak that she likes tattoos and scars because they tell good stories. At night, Alba continues her video diary and reveals her plans to visit Barcelona. However, she worries that she and Dara might miss each other once they get there. When morning comes, Didak is having a nightmare. He wakes up calling for Alba, but she's not there. When he looks at the bedsheet, he sees blood and panics, fearing something terrible has happened to her. He rides his bicycle to look for her. He finds Alba near the river and asks if a man has hurt her. Alba is confused by his question and denies his assumption. When Didak notices blood on her thighs, he asks her about it. Alba explains it's because of her period. Didak is unfamiliar with the concept, so Alba explains it to him. Upon learning that Alba can have children, Didak asks if she wants them. Alba gives a vague answer and splashes him with water playfully. Didak splashes back and they play with water for a few seconds. Unaware that the water has soaked her top, making her chest visible, Alba doesn't notice Didak's curiosity as he tries to touch her chest. Alba swats his hand away and tells him it's inappropriate, then orders him to go home. A couple of days later, Didak practices shooting, but the noise startles Alba, and she quickly stops him. She asks where he got the gun. Didak says he found it in a police car. Alba tells him to leave the gun because she doesn't want him to get hurt. Didak insists he needs to practice to protect the house. Alba thinks this is silly, and firmly tells him to put the gun down. Though Didak complies, he marches away irritably. After 3 months, Alba's hope for a rescue wavers. Therefore, the two of them learn how to support themselves through Dara's survival guide. Throughout their journey, Alba always documents their progress through her video diary. She treats her camera as her best friend, and uses it to reveal how they adapt to their current situation. Many years later, a lot of things have changed, especially Didak. He transforms into a strong, reliable, and attractive young man. These changes don't escape Alba's attention, and she can't deny the strange feelings she's harboring for him. However, Didak also begins to see Alba in a different light. One afternoon, Didak is on top of the water tank's ledge, and observes his surroundings with his binoculars. Suddenly, his attention falls on Alba, who is watering the plants. He sees Alba disrobing and drenching herself with water due to the heat. Upon witnessing this, Didak's gaze lingers on her exposed back. Once again, their relationship dynamics are challenged when Alba asks Didak to help her knead the dough. Since Didak is inexperienced, Alba demonstrates the process, resulting in them sharing an innocent skinship. Yet Didak can't contain his feelings, so he hastily kisses Alba and leaves. Though this stuns Alba, a smile forms on her lips. During the night, a strong storm devastates Alba and Didak's garden. Alba tries to salvage the garden beds, but the damage is too severe. Due to this, the two decide to leave their place the next day. While using her phone, Alba is surprised to see that Didak successfully restored the tractor to a pristine condition. In joy, she hugs the young man. After packing their belongings, the two begin their journey to reach Barcelona. Upon reaching their destination, Didak makes noise by honking the tractor's horn, whereas Alba persistently calls her father's phone. Despite their efforts to make their presence known, Dara is nowhere to be found. Alba becomes emotional, and Didak comforts her. This urges Alba to confide in him, so she admits regretting not hugging her father when he left. Then she tells Didak they might not be able to find him anymore. However, Didak remains optimistic and convinces her to continue their search. Alba smiles and eventually agrees with him. Moments later, the two arrive at the center of the town, but there are no survivors left. Hence, they travel to Barcelona's infamous Camp Nou stadium to stay for a while. Despite its state, Didak excitedly walks inside and admires it. Right away, he grabs his football and begins executing his tricks. He calls for Alba, and the young woman happily cheers for him. When Didak tries to score a goal, Alba tells him she will record such core memory. Once set, Didak executes his kick, resulting in him successfully scoring a goal. The young man happily celebrates his goal and does his signature celebratory pose. Since this pose exposes his body, Alba is distracted, resulting in her dropping the phone. Before something escalates, she immediately retrieves the phone from the ground. By nighttime, awkwardness fills the air. So Alba initiates a conversation with Didak. Though they converse, they can't escape their attraction for each other. Therefore, Alba kisses Didak, and he reciprocates. This leads to them making love throughout the night. After a few days, the couple leaves the city and begins a new life near the sea. While they build their comfortable home, Alba announces that she is pregnant, causing Didak to happily carry and hug her. To prepare for her pregnancy, Alba visits an abandoned library and collects books about motherhood. On the other hand, Didak collects toys for their unborn child. Once he reunites with Alba, he checks on her and asks what she is reading. Alba reveals that she is searching for a possible name for their child. Didak suggests they name the child Mar. However, Alba thinks Kai is more suitable as it means sea in Hawaiian and is gender neutral. In parallel, Alba's pregnancy bump becomes noticeable, and her due is approaching. One night while reading her father's diary, a sudden painful cramp stops her from her activity. Though she struggles, she musters her strength and approaches Didak. She tells him their baby is coming, so Didak assists her in a comfortable birthing position. Once Alba lays down, Didak remains calm and guides his partner in her breathing. Despite the pain, the young woman complies with his instructions and goes into labor. After a few pushes, Alba finally gives birth to their son, Kai. The next morning, while the couple takes care of Kai, Alba notices a boat near the shore. Alba excitedly goes to check, expecting that there will be survivors there. But a skeptical Didac dismisses the idea and tells her they don't need anyone. Despite his reaction, Alba puts Kai down in his crib and tries to get the captain's attention. However, Alba doesn't get any answer. Instead, she notices an unconscious man lying on the shore. Thinking it is her father, she quickly runs to check on him, with Didac tailing her. Didac checks out the man, only to find out he is not Dara. Once conscious, the man recounts how he accidentally arrives at the couple's shore. He is happy to meet the couple and their child since he thought he was the only survivor. He also compliments the couple's house and excitedly shares information about the island he lives on. However, he states that he mostly spent his time on his boat to look for other survivors. Once Alba hears this, she invites him to stay with them. Despite not uttering any word, Didac's opposition is evident in his face, and the man catches this. Hence he refuses Alba's offer and insists he will stay on his boat. Before he leaves, he asks the two for a hug, since he's been deprived of human touch for a long time. Once hugged, the man can't contain the emotions he's feeling, so he abruptly leaves. For the next few days, the man helps the couple improve their survival skills, particularly focusing on Didac. Despite their growing closeness, Didac remains apprehensive towards the man. One morning, as Alba is nursing Kai, the man secretly peeps on her without her knowledge. Didac catches him in the act and confronts him, however. The man reasons that he's only observing Alba's situation and plans to give her honey to relieve her pain from nursing. With his reason, Alba appreciates the man's kind gesture. He shares that the honey is special since it was produced by his own bees that feed on a flower resembling a rooster's crest. Though Alba expresses interest in the man's story, Didac doesn't. He tells him his boat is ready, implicitly implying that Didac wants him gone. Hearing this causes the man's smile to fade and he announces his departure. Once Alba hears this, she still insists the man to stay. Suddenly, he invites them to a party on his boat this evening. He explains that it's his appreciation for the couple's kindness and celebrating the new humanity. Ecstatic, Alba agrees to meet him later. Once on the boat, Alba and the man enjoy the night, while Didac spends his time brooding alone, since she wants to try sleeping on the boat. Immediately, the man reveals his surprise, a vintage movie projector. After many years, the couple can finally watch a movie. The next day, Didac wakes up first and feels that something is strange. He gets up and realizes they're too far from the shore. Due to this, he tries to alert Alba. Despite his efforts, the man quickly punches Didac, causing him to fall into the water. The loud splash of Didac's fall wakes Alba, and she worries for her partner. Like in the past, Alba prepares to dive into the water to save Didac. The man tries to stop her, but Alba dismisses him. Alba successfully saves Didac, but the couple loses Kai as the man sails away. Left with no other option, the two return to their house feeling frustrated. Moments later, the couple watches over the sea, longing for their son. With a newfound determination, Alba vows to get Kai back. The following day, the two visit the abandoned library to find clues about the man's island. However, Alba bursts out of frustration, as she doesn't know where to start. Thankfully, when she accompanies Didac in fixing a boat, she notices the rooster logo on the boat's door. She remembers that the man's bees feed on a flower resembling a rooster's crest. Therefore, they immediately revisit the library and browse through botanical books. After a few browses, Alba finally finds the flower and the man's location. The next morning, the couple quickly embarks on their journey to retrieve their son. With their efforts, the couple finally reaches the island. While walking, the two hear Kai's cries, they follow it, leading them to the man's fort. Alba peeps through a hole and scrutinizes Kai's possible location. Instead, they see the man walking, and a nervous Alba urges Didac to shoot him. However, Didac refuses, as he worries the man is not alone, and they will get overpowered. A few seconds later, the man re-emerges and goes to his bee farm. This allows the two to follow Kai's cries. Alba enters an underground tent and discovers her son is locked in a cage. She tries to break the lock, but she's unsuccessful. Therefore, she searches the whole area for the keys. Meanwhile, Didac acts as a lookout to buy Alba some time. After rummaging through a tray, Alba finds a set of keys and immediately tries them on the lock. Sadly, nothing works. Therefore, she goes outside and meets with Didac. She tells him about Kai's situation, and it frustrates him. Therefore, they switch roles. Alba acts as a guard, but Kai's cries weaken her, causing her to lose focus. As a result, the man sneaks up behind her and grabs her. At the exact moment, Didac emerges and sees Alba as the man's captive. Helpless, Didac complies with his orders. Afterward, the man traps the couple using hammocks. While he secures his traps, he tells Didac that he is hopeful to have a harmonious relationship with them, but he expresses his dislike for the young man. Upon hearing that, Didac threatens to kill him, and it further angers the man. Before things escalate, Alba bargains with him to let her go with her son, and she'll welcome him into their family. The man immediately accepts her offer and frees her. However, the man doesn't let her off the hook. He tells her she needs to follow his orders, or she will meet her demise. Alba complies and they head to Kai's location. Once inside the tent, Alba hurriedly approaches Kai, but the man stops her. He tells her that she needs to let him cry sometimes and comments that his cries sound like music. Since Alba stays silent, the man gives her the key. She rushes to Kai and takes care of him. While she nurses her child, the man looks at her in a creepy way, making Alba uncomfortable. He leaves with a snicker right after. The man goes back to Didac's place to tease him. Without him knowing, Alba escapes with her son. When he senses her, the man shouts at her, but Didac tells her to keep running. Instead of chasing them, the man taunts Didac again. The young man spits at him in response. This makes the man angry, so he tricks Didac. He uses pliers to hurt Didac. The pain makes Didac shout, stopping Alba in her tracks. After a few seconds, Didac faints and the man starts to look for Alba. She sees him outside and runs away. While she's running, she accidentally leaves her scarf behind, which gives the man a clue. After finding a place to hide, she uses her pinky finger to calm Kai. Feeling that the man goes a different way, she keeps running. But Kai starts crying again, so Alba hides under a tree's root and calms him down. Suddenly she feels that the man is near, so she thinks of a plan. As the man calls for Alba, he hears Kai's cries below him, so he goes down to check. But he finds out the sound comes from Kai's recorded video. He quickly runs back to his place. Meanwhile, Alba returns to Didac and tries to free him. Struggling, Didac asks her for a knife, but the man's sudden return stops their plan. Alba says sorry and plans to go back to the tent, but he stops her. He tells her to put Kai back in the crib. Then he walks up to her and reminds her she betrayed him. As a punishment, he shoots her leg. While he tells Alba off, Didac breaks free. He uses this chance to stab the man in his back, but he manages to slap Didac and the two fight each other. Hurt, Alba gets the gun and threatens to shoot the man. This doesn't scare him. Instead, he makes her feel bad. Unfazed, Alba shoots him in the shoulder and he attacks her. Alba falls down the tent. Didac saves her and fights the man with a hoe, but he blocks his move with a pitchfork. They keep fighting until they lose their weapons. The man grabs the gun while Didac takes a scythe. When he hears Kai whimper, Didac makes the first attack and the man shoots him. He kills the man, but he knows he's close to the end too. So he goes to his son and kisses him for the last time. A crying Alba comes to him, but he falls to the ground breathing hard. She tries to stop the bleeding, but Didac dies. At night, Alba mourns Didac's death and puts his body in the sea. After some years, Alba and Kai live in her old house. Kai has grown up into a strong boy and likes football like his father. After playing, he tries to take Alba's phone, but she stops him, scared he might break it. Instead, she puts Kai on her lap, and they both remember Didac's memories from her video diaries. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. See you on the next video.